Alright, it's been well documented that between when the Oilers won on Saturday to advance to the Cup final and the actual start of the thing, it's an entire week without hockey. So I asked you guys what more niche or specific aspects of the Cup final would you like me to talk about until then, and by far the one I saw requested the most was the Corey Perry thing. Now if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it mostly refers to the fact that he just made NHL history by becoming the first player ever to go to 5 Stanley Cup finals with 5 different teams. Now there's a running joke following him around that he's a Stanley Cup final curse, because out of his 4 previous Cup final appearances, he's only won one of them, and it came as a 21-year-old in his second season ever in the league with the Ducks in 07. What a powerhouse team that was, by the way. I mean, yes, they had a young Getzlaf and Perry who would eventually become the 2 faces of the franchise, but it was also a team led by Scott Niedermayer, Chris Pronger, a still elite Teemu Selanne. I mean, he scored 48 goals that year, and J.S. Giguère, who was so good that 4 years earlier, even though the Ducks lost in the Cup final, he still won the Conn Smythe. Then in 2020, Perry was with Dallas. You'll remember that was the year he got kicked out of the outdoor game and had to do the walk of shame. Heartbreak in 6 games to Tampa in the final, despite him being a pretty good bottom 6 player during that run. Then the next year, he was a big part of the Montreal Canadiens run to the final, so much so that there was talk of him possibly being Shea Weber's replacement as captain if he would have stayed. Instead, Perry loses to Tampa for the 2nd year in a row, this time in 5 games, and pulls a good old-fashioned, if you can't beat him, join him. Now, the very next year when Tampa made the final against Colorado, Perry also made Stanley Cup final history there, becoming the first player ever to reach the final in 3 straight years with 3 different teams. Didn't serve him much better though, as McKinnon and the boys took him out in 6. That's when I really started to hear people say, oh, if you have Corey Perry on your team and you go to the final, you're not going to win because he's there. But I just remember reading that and thinking, well, yeah, there's plenty of luck involved there, but he must be doing something right to be the first ever player to go to 3 finals with 3 different teams. And then the next year, for the first time since 2019, Corey Perry was not in the Cup final. Toronto took him out in 6. Then, this is why I think it's such a hot topic that he's in the Cup final right now. He started the season with Chicago, who not only didn't make the playoffs, they finished as the 2nd worst team in the league and have the 2nd overall pick in the draft. And I'm sure you guys know that he wasn't traded to Edmonton at the deadline. His contract was terminated by the Hawks for an off-ice incident, and then after being reinstated by the league a couple of months later, he then signed with the Oilers a little over halfway through the season. And now, here we are. Corey Perry's at his 5th Stanley Cup final, his 4th in the last 5 seasons, and he's doing it in a hockey-crazed city that's starving for a Cup win right now. He is a bottom 6 player in terms of minutes, but he's also gotten quite a few reps these playoffs with the team's 2nd best player. And to be honest with you, despite his age and everything that's happened with him this season, with all those Cup final losses, I'm expecting him to come out hungrier than he's ever been. I'm not sure how banged up he is, but at this time of year, pretty much everybody left is. I think he's got a chance to be a real difference maker in this series. The 4 players that fascinate me the most in this series are Connor McDavid, Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, and Corey Perry. I think that especially since there's so much time before Game 1, this guy's gonna have so much time to reflect and be like, whoa, this very well could be my last shot and we're so close here. I think that's gonna make for some entertaining hockey and gamesmanship from Perry. That'll do it on this one. Let me know who else you want a video on before the Cup final starts. I know I've been getting some Matthew Tkachuk and Leon Draisaitl requests. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.